Now, before we get into episode 5 of Love Story, JFK Jr. and Carolyn Bessette, there is a key scene we did not have time to get into from episode 4 when we were covering it last week. Now, this is a scene of Carolyn at her apartment. She has left a dinner, drinks with JFK Jr., having met his friends for the first time, and they're trying to get her to stay. And she says, oh, no, I couldn't possibly. I have dinner with my mother, making it sound like she had to go meet her mother at like a white tablecloth restaurant to have a proper dinner. And this is all part of her like being like, I'm too busy for you and I don't drop my plans for the likes of you. You may be JFK Jr. You know what I mean? Anyway, excuse me. Anyway, we cut to Carolyn having dinner with what is clearly her sister, Lauren. Lauren was a twin. Lisa is the surviving twin. And it seems that Ryan Murphy has had the good taste to leave Lisa alone and out of this. So it could be for legal reasons, but whatever. Let's give them the benefit of the doubt. Lauren and Carolyn's mother. This is the first time we're seeing Carolyn's mother, Anne Messina, played by Constance Zimmer. And so the dinner is Carolyn eating takeout Chinese, barefoot on her floor, and her mother folding her daughter's laundry, but really trying to get Carolyn to see the light when it comes to dating John F. Kennedy Jr. Here we go.
Carolyn's hanging out with John again.
John?
Sorry, Kennedy Jr. Should have clarified.
Well, what happened to the movie star that he left you for?
Nobody left anybody.
Mm-hmm.
Both of us were just... It's bad timing.
But it's good timing now?
It's different this time.
Marlena is telling me that we played this on the last show. I didn't recall that, and I did go looking back, so I'm clearly mistaken, but I wanted to play it. It's worth keeping. It's worth keeping in the show because Carolyn's mother spotted this guy a million miles away, and she was like, he's bad news for you. You dated him once before. He was dating a movie star. He had a serious relationship with Daryl Hannah, and he dumped you. He ghosted you. And now you're saying it was just bad timing. Wake up. Okay, we're going to move on. We will come back to her mother when we get to the wedding episode, which I believe is happening this Thursday. And I'm going to have a lot to say about the wedding episode. A lot. Episode 5 is called Battery Park, which I will give it to them. I think it's a clever episode title because it concludes with the huge physically abusive fight that those two got into in a public park in New York City. We are going to begin. And by the way, Michael Bergin, an excerpt is coming in this segment. I promise. You're not going to believe it. We open with Carolyn at Calvin Klein, and she is telling her gay male fan club, consisting of the designer Narciso Rodriguez, who would go on to design Carolyn's wedding dress, and Gordon Henderson, who Carolyn promised would design her wedding dress. And Carolyn really screwed Gordon over. And the way this show is depicting these two is like just mincing little girls who can't believe that their friend Carolyn is effing John F. Kennedy Jr. and Carolyn's acting way too cool for school. Maybe this is where Carol Radziwill got her tutelage. We're on page 6, but we really hate it. And don't call me the second coming of Diana, even though in real life, Carolyn was obsessed with Princess Diana and kind of thought she was going to become and did become the equivalent of Diana. Here we go.
I'm calling page 6 and demanding a retraction. I mean, how hard is it to spell Carolyn? You're on page 6 again?
Oh, no. Carol Bessette was in page 6 again. Apparently she was seen canoodling with John at Bubby's.
And last time they called you Caroline. It's shoddy journalism.
I'd rather they misspelled my name. The less interested in us they are, the better.
Yeah, well, they never got Diana's name right when she was first dating Charles, and now she's the most popular
royal. Not true!
You're gonna be the American people's princess.
Which would make us your ladies in waiting.
You two are demented.
Such
I want
terrible
to keep all that
dialogue.
noise up for as long as possible. We're in a really good place.
A good place. Honey, you share a home and a dog. It's basically like common law marriage.
Yeah, you ready to churn out 6 patriotic kids that all love boats?
We haven't talked about any of that stuff yet. But I've never been this happy. I'm going to Hyannisport this weekend to meet the rest of his family.
Squee, but she definitely didn't want to be Mrs. JFK Jr. She definitely didn't want all the shit that came along with that. Hyannisport, oh my God, I'm about to spontaneously combust. Let's take a little break and look at some of the amazing memes that have been populating Instagram. First is a woman I've never seen before, but she has gone viral. Hair flip becoming part of my personality, roaming around the office, flipping one's hair this way and that way, and just running our fingers through it and covering our face and just, putting pens in our mouths suggestively and crawling all over desks and hugging walls like they're not inanimate objects. It's hilarious. And on that one, China Phillips, the singer, wrote, "Wait, where's the lip bite?" Oh my God, it's so true. A friend of mine texted and was like, if I have to see this woman bite her lip one more time in an effort to be coquettish and sexy. Next, Amanda Klutz did her own version of this on Instagram of Carolyn Bessette just trying to languidly look like, oh, this hair that costs at least $1,000 every 6 months to bleach platinum blonde and be, again, Katie Couric here laughed and said, let me show you how it's done. And finally, this one, again, an anonymous figure otherwise on Instagram, channeling inner Carolyn Bessette in The Office. It's a laughing stock, okay? This is a laughing stock. Now, John, back to Love Story. John, this is the run-up to the launch of George magazine, and there is truth in this depiction here. And the casting is actually really good here. The casting of Michael Bergin, this actor really does resemble him. It's a very strong resemblance. Now, Michael Bergin, per many reports, was doing all the hard work. And John was like, really, how hard is it to launch a magazine? All you guys are doing the hard work. Hey, I'm going to go take off my shirt and run around Central Park and get my picture taken. And then I'm maybe going to go put a dog down because he's biting people in the face, TBD later. And, my dog's taking a shit in the office. My assistant Rosemary is going to just scoop up that shit like she scoops up all my other shit. Per Love Story, it's here in this scene. Here we go.
Okay, what the fuck is that smell?
Your dog took a dump by the copier.
Oh, shit.
That's
I'm
Rosemary.
sorry, Rosemary. I'll get it.
I'll do it. I deal with all your other shit.
What a woman. Should we give Rosie a raise? She really goes above and beyond. You know, she's watching Friday for the weekend, even though she's a cat person.
A raise. We might not have a company in a month.
I don't think it's helpful for you to be this stressed out.
Oh, yeah, well, I don't think it's that helpful for you to be so lax.
Fuck you. I care as much as you do.
Good! Then I need you to go into beast mode until the launch. Pull all-nighters, work weekends, starting right fucking now.
And John's like, cool, I'm in. I can do that. Bergin tells him, I've been hospitalized twice with IBS because I'm so stressed out. I'm doing everything here and you're doing nothing. And John's like, hey, man, all hands on deck. I'm in. You got me. I've gotten the message. And then Carolyn shows up. Here we go.
All right, you gotta choose the cover. Herb sent some options of Cindy. I marked down my favorites.
Cool.
That would be Herb Ritz.
I'll show him to Carolyn and see what she thinks.
Oh, good. I definitely want your girlfriend's opinion.
Cindy was her idea.
Common complaint at the office. Why is
Sorry,
your
I'm
girlfriend
late.
always here?
Speak of the devil. What's up, kitty cat?
If we don't leave soon, we're gonna hit Friday traffic, and at that point, we might as well leave tomorrow. Hi.
John, are you leaving?
I'm taking Carolyn to Hyannisport. I'll be back Monday. Relax.
Okay. So that little exchange also, by the way, I mean, that just goes to show you the guy, it was in one ear, out the other. He was going to do what he wanted to do. He had a big weekend at Hyannisport, George launching or not, him wanting to be taken seriously as an entrepreneur, let alone an editor-in-chief or not, being an editor-in-chief, working in the media, it looks sometimes like a glamorous job from the outside. There's a lot of grinding it out. There are a lot of late hours. There's a lot of news that breaks on weekends or holidays or late at night. And if you are a real journalist, like, you're dropping everything because that's your job. You love it. You're going to cover breaking news. John, no. And by the way, so he calls her kitty cat. And I think that she called him in real life Mouse. But she used to do this thing with Michael Bergin. It's in the book, and this is not the part I'm going to read from. But she would always say meow to him. That, nothing was sacred. Nothing was sacred. Now, Carolyn, the other thing about the dog in the office, it's like John's dog is just running around the office taking shits on the carpet. He also had a dog named Sam. Now, I knew somebody who worked for JFK Jr. way, way, way back before George. This was when he had his company called Random Ventures, and he was still trying to figure out what that was going to be. It was aptly named Random Ventures, custom-made kayaks. He also had a rent-a-dog scheme. This is how dumb he was. He proposed to friends. He had this brilliant idea to start a company that was called Rent-A-Dog. And it was for people who didn't want to commit to actually owning dogs, but who loved dogs and wanted them for like maybe an hour to walk them. And someone said, John, where did you get this idea? And he said, well, every time I'm out walking my dog, people stop me and they always want to talk to my dog and about my dog. And they were like, yeah, you know what, John? They want to talk to you. The dog is the delivery system. Anyway, John had a German Shepherd named Sam. And this dog wasn't trained properly, and he would bring this dog into the office, and this dog bit an employee in the face. And instead of trying to rehome Sam or get him really trained up, John put him down. Because that's what Kennedys do. They put down animals and people who become inconvenient. Not for nothing is Ask Not dedicated to inconvenient women everywhere. Now, John takes Carolyn up to Hickory Hill to meet Ethel, who is, since the death of Jackie Kennedy, the undisputed matriarch of the family. I'm going to tell you something. We're not going to go through this scene. It's not worth it. But the Hickory Hill of Ryan Murphy's love story bears no resemblance to the real Hickory Hill. The Hickory Hill in Love Story is white and bright and light and pristine and clean. Ethel ran a house of horrors. Ethel ran a literal shit show. People who have been to that house will say you will see priceless rugs that were gifts from Middle Eastern heads of state, and there's dog shit and piss all over them. And Ethel was so lazy that she would just wait for the dog shit to harden and kick the turds underneath the dining room table. Her personal hygiene was deplorable, and her kids were feral, okay? So the idea that this is some American version of The Crown, when you see them all sitting down to what looks like a state dinner in an amber-lit dining room, not so. Now, further in this episode, Carolyn calls upon Michael Bergin, the male model who remains hopelessly in love with her. And she calls him in this scene to flirt with him, to torment him, to talk about her agonies, about her relationship with JFK Jr. And this scene is crueler than the director, the producers, the writers, and the actors will acknowledge it to be, will really let it be. If this had been in my hands, I would have made it very clear what's going on here. Here we go.
I got a girlfriend too. She does makeup. And she actually reshaped my eyebrows.
Remember when I tweezed yours?
Yeah, I do.
Carolyn sabotaged him.
No, I swear.
For an early modeling job. She was really fucked up. Now, this next exchange feels like the writers are acknowledging the holes in Carolyn's self-professed wants. Here we go.
You are the most guarded and elusive woman that I have ever met. How are you able to date the most famous man in America?
Those doe
I
eyes.
know you, Carolyn.
I don't know.
He asked me to marry him. I didn't say yes.
Well, that makes me feel a little better.
What do you mean?
Because if the most eligible bachelor in all of America can't get you to commit, who can?
I didn't say no. I said I'd think about it.
How's that going?
He's fine. He's focused on his magazine launch and this huge press conference with like every news outlet in America.
So that is getting close to the real Carolyn, which is like, she says to Michael, the boyfriend, the ex-boyfriend she knows is still carrying a huge torch for her. He asked me to marry him, as if this is terrible news and as if she's asking Michael to talk her out of it. And she goes, I didn't say yes. And she's doing this gesture, the actress, Michael writes about it in his book. Carolyn had this tick, this like real, it was like a pathological habit. He would call it, she would worry her skin. She would like pinch at like the skin on her forearm constantly whenever she was really, really like perseverating on something. And she would do it to him too. She would pick and pinch at his skin. And instead in that scene, she's like got her arm over her shoulder and she's like, go, I guess that's the actress's interpretation, whatever, but then she says, oh, well, so yeah, he's fine with it. And by the way, he's about to have press conferences with every major news outlet in America, which is a fuck you to Michael, who is still kind of a model trying to really, really make his way in his career. And that's kind of the real Carolyn. Now I'm going to read from one of my, one of the extracts in The Other Man that I think is the most telling. And I don't know how Ryan Murphy does this series without including this scene. Because again, if this were in my hands. Okay, so Carolyn has jerked Michael around all over the island of Manhattan for a very long time. She loved bombed him. Within the first 3 or 4 weeks of their relationship, they spent every night together except for one. Michael thought they were in love. Michael thought they were really going places, and then she would disappear. She would disappear for months. He would see her in the paper. Then she'd come back. She'd have sex with him. Then she would disappear again, months and months and months and months. She did this so many times, and Michael had it, and he was at a party with another woman. Did he know Carolyn would be there? Yeah. Did he try to get a reaction out of her by showing up with another woman? Sure. Did he deserve any of what was coming next? Absolutely not. He writes that he and this woman named Nicole were at the bar. This was back when you could still smoke indoors in New York City. She reached for a cigarette. He reached for one of those small votive candles they used to put on bars to light Nicole's cigarette. Before I had even set the candle down, Michael writes, Carolyn was at my side, literally shoving Nicole out of the way. Can I talk to you? She said through clenched teeth. She didn't even wait for an answer. She dragged me to the nearest corner, pinned me to the wall, took my face in her hands, literally burying her fingernails into my skin. What the fuck do you think you're doing? She hissed. And what the hell is she doing here? I was mortified. People were staring. Nicole was looking over at us in stunned disbelief. Carolyn, I said, this isn't cool. I pulled away and crossed back to the bar. Nicole decided it was her turn to rip me a new asshole. Gordon, the friend that we just saw in the top of the segment, one of Caroline's, gay fashion fans, showed up and intervened. So Michael then turns and catches a glimpse of his face in a mirror. He writes, I had 2 bloody slits on each cheek from where Carolyn's nails had burst through the skin. This is a model. His face is his moneymaker. Carolyn is attempting to disfigure him, if not permanently, at least temporarily. Who's going to shoot a guy who looks like his girlfriend just beat the shit out of him? Behind me, Michael writes, also reflected in the mirror, I saw a pair of security guards hurrying towards us. They are thrown out. Michael is thrown out anyway. He flags a passing cab, jumps in, goes home. Michael writes, I'd barely made it through the door when the buzzer sounded. Who is it? I said. It's me, Carolyn said. I didn't want to let her up, but she buzzed again and again and wouldn't stop until I let her through. She walked in fuming. I had never seen such rage in her eyes. What is wrong with you? She screamed. She punched me in the chest with her small fist. Boom, boom, boom. 3 times in quick succession. How dare you parade that girl around in front of me? Again, recall, she's been dating JFK Jr. She's been jerking Michael around, using him to get Junior jealous. Carolyn turned, Michael writes, saw one of my white candles, a huge candle, nothing like the little ones back at the bar. Candles I'd purchased to protect myself from evil spirits. Carolyn picked it up, flung it across the room. She threw it so hard that she chipped the plaster on the wall. I began to move toward her, but she was already reaching for candle number 2. I ducked as it flew past and shattered the window that looked out onto the courtyard. Then she threw a third, striking the mirror over the mantel, the mirror we'd bought together at the flea market, and smashed it to bits. The shards rained down on the floor. There was one candle left. She threw it at my feet, and it gouged a 2-inch hunk out of the polished wood floor. What is wrong with you? She screamed, completely losing control. You like trashy girls? Is that it? You like them dirty? She turned and kicked my TV set, knocking the VCR to the ground. Then she literally leapt into the air and came crashing down on the VCR, smashing it. I didn't want to be there. I didn't know how to stop her without manhandling her. So I did what any sane man would have done in a similar situation. I ran. I tore through the door, down 2 flights of stairs, out into the street. I was running like a marathoner, really goddamn moving. But the next thing I knew, Carolyn was on my ass. She was gaining on me. She was moving like lightning. This was nuts. You little baby, she was screaming. What's the matter? Can't you take it? Are you running away from me, wimp? Run, little baby, run. Now, when I tell you, as I told you guys in a previous episode, that when that fight happened between Carolyn and JFK Jr., that very physical fight in a park in New York City, and it hit the tabloids, it hit the national media, it went global. There was video of it, not just photo. Carolyn's friends said among themselves about John Jr., well, John, now you've met the real Carolyn. When your company is growing fast, order fulfillment can make or break your success. ShipStation can change everything. Their intelligence-driven platform puts order management, rate shopping, inventory, returns, warehouse tools, and analytics all in one place, saving customers an average of 15 hours a week. You can connect to over 200 sales channels with one streamlined dashboard. ShipStation compares rates across USPS, UPS, and FedEx to find the best option on every order with savings of up to 90% off. Bring your existing rates, add ShipStation's automations, let the system choose the carrier, find the rate, print the labels in bulk, and send tracking updates. Their tracking and return tools reduce customer service inquiries and give you the insights needed to optimize your operation. It's no wonder that over 1 million businesses trust ShipStation. Try ShipStation free for 60 days with full access to all features. No credit card needed. Go to ShipStation.com. Use code Maureen for 60 days for free. 60 days gives you plenty of time to see exactly how much time and money you are saving on every shipment. That's ShipStation.com. Code Maureen. ShipStation.com. Code Maureen.